Everybody, thanks for watching. Real quick, Frequency and Vibration, Volume 3 is out now. Make sure you guys grab that. Also, The God of 2025 is also available. Frequency and Vibration, when you guys grab it, it will come with the first two, part 1 and part 2. So when you get this new video, it will come with part 1 and part 2 for this weekend only. So make sure you guys grab it. You'll get all 3 parts. So now I'll get into the rest of the updates at the end of the video, but I want to get into this video. So yeah, it's a lot going on, a lot of information out. One of the good things about, having so much time to really, focus and everything like that, I've just really dug more deeper into my research, and it's just so much stuff that you miss. And it's just so much stuff that, it's always new information. I'm always a student. I'm always learning. I'm always picking up on certain things. But when you have time to really dig in, which, recently I have, you just really it opens up so many more doors of information. So I have a lot to put out, a lot of information, but I want to really get into the final parts of a lot of these series that I have going on, with Saturn, Satan, and, mystery schools or what have you. Is a lot of energy videos and frequency videos that I have to add on to those as well. So the topic of this video is really geared towards this new frequency video and understanding what that's all about. So it's a lot. And, throughout just being able to pay more attention to people recently, a lot of people are still hung up on the whole God aspect in Christianity, of course. And I always get that question. And I've been running into so many people having so many interesting conversations about religion, the Bible, and God. And it's just so much information I put out on it. And it's just really, a lot of people still don't get it. And I've been trying to think and rack my brain on the best possible way to put things, which of course we know, 1 + 1 don't equal 2 to a lot of these Christians. So no matter how you speak or how you talk, they're just not going to accept it, a lot of the times, most of the times. But, it's just some people who are conscious are still holding on to this God aspect and Jesus, and wanting to keep that on the back burner, and not really understanding what that is, but yet calling themselves conscious. You got to understand what's going on. And then you have to also understand, anybody that's preaching to you a black or white Jesus is bullshit. It's bullshit. I don't care who it is. Anybody that's still preaching to you all this stuff that's going on, it's so much misinformation. And I get so many people hitting me up about, have you heard this guy? Or have you seen this guy's videos? And then, if I do take the time to look, it's just so much misinformation and so much craziness that's wrapped up into a lot of this stuff. Everybody wants to jump on the Anunnaki thing, the whole Anunnaki situation, and use that and try to incorporate the Bible and history into this whole Anunnaki myth, which I busted up in previous videos. You guys got to understand, these people are here to sell you books, to sell you videos, to not give you no truth. It's easy to see who the agents are, the agents of misinformation, by their platform and everything that they have. They would not give you all this stuff. You would not have that type of platform if you was doing something that was detrimental to their, agenda. Again, as I say, there's rules to all of this. It's universal law. It's ways of putting out information and doing things the correct way, to where you're not interfering with choice, or you're not leading anybody astray as far as being on the right path of finding, right knowledge and correct information. Now, I'm not saying I have all the answers and I'm just the only person that's on here that's right, nor do I want you guys to not really listen to what a lot of these people are saying. I just don't want you to really take it in as far as being correct information. I want people to learn about Islam and learn about Christianity and read the Bible and read the Quran and Torah and learn what the Hebrews are talking about. So when it comes time for you to really do the research and decipher this stuff, you know how to break it down, because you know what they're talking about. You know how to get through the pitfalls and all of the rhetoric and all of the ideology, because you know about it. A lot of people have a problem really understanding what we talk about as far as the Bible, because they haven't read the book. A lot of people haven't even read the whole entire book of Genesis. So they don't really understand what we be talking about when we say certain things. So now that's going to get me into this video. So God, that's one of the biggest pitfalls that we have as far as researching religion and what's going on. And I hate That in the past I had to be so insensitive to so many people who really just looking for answers and really want to know what God is. And I've been brutal to a lot of people, and rightfully so in some cases. But some people are just looking for hope. Some people just want to make sense of it all and feel some type of, love and protection or what have you from life. And life is cruel. You're not really going to get no protection outside of yourself. And that's what you got to understand what all this is going back to, is understanding that no matter what you do, how hard you pray, who you pray to, at the end of the day, it's you. At the end of the day, it's you. So it's tough to get people into that understanding because of the God aspect. So what you hear from a lot of religious people is, if the Bible isn't correct, then who created us? A lot of people's ignorance does not make the Bible correct, and that's what people are pointing to. They say, well, of course the Bible is correct because how else you got here? How else did we get here? Something created us. Somebody created us. It's what the Bible was saying. And what we are saying, as I have said before, is it's not what the Bible is teaching us that created us. So I'll talk about as God being the creator and that being the correct term for it all, because again, you have to look at the Bible, and it's talking about in the book of Genesis, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, and the heaven and the earth was without form and void. Darkness fell upon the deep and all that. But this is where we are supposedly getting our understanding of the creation of the universe, the heavens, the earth. So space itself. So you have to understand that, damn, think about it. And it's common sense when you really can think critically. So if God created the heavens and the earth and the universe and everything like that, who created God? You know what I'm saying? And who created that creator, and so on and so forth. It's just a never ending question when you really think about it critically. Then you think about, well, this is how space came to be. God created space. But then you have to think about, well, God had to exist in a space to create space. And what was that space that God existed in when he created space? And in what space did God put space? You understand? So, if I got a ball and I want to put it in a room, the room exists already. I just put the ball in there, but the room exists. In order for me to put the ball somewhere, the ball had to be somewhere prior to me putting the ball in that room. So in what room was the ball before I put it in that room? Understand? It was somewhere first. So there is existence. And again, you have to understand, when you wrap your head around this, you can get through the whole God aspect. You can understand, one, existence has always existed. Plain and simple. It has always been here. And you have preachers and people that'll tell you that God exists outside of space and time. You know what I'm saying? That just don't make sense at all. If you exist outside of space and time, you don't exist. That's non-existence. So he had to exist outside of it to create it. Okay, so in what space was he existing in when he created? What is that space? Understand? So you have to think about that. If space is infinite, like we are told, then it has always been here. It's an infinite space. And it makes the most sense. It has always been existence. Complete darkness, nothingness is still something, when you understand. And get that out of the way. Just understand that aspect. So a creator being, a being, meaning that being had to be created itself. So you got to understand that something that had to have always exist created us. And, when you get more deeper into it, it's a higher intelligence that basically put us together, which we get into in the new frequency video, and understanding that energy, because you got to decipher and understand, one, as I talked about, we have atoms. Different amounts of atoms create elements. Different elements create the physical world we know, right? You got to think about that. So we understand how much energy atoms have. Lots of energy. So the thing is, one, how are we, the electrical soul, they call it, how are we different from that atomic energy, or are we the same? Is the energy in atoms our soul, or are we something, Are we something different besides that energy? And this is what we get into in frequency and vibration volume 3. You got to really understand that, but it'll get you into the correct knowledge of what this whole God thing is, and that is not this being in a book, but that book is giving you a real understanding on how to arrive at who or what God really is. Understand, one, the Bible many times is giving you a reference as you as God. Jesus says that, isn't it written that I said you are gods? So it's giving you so many instances where it's telling you that you are God. And that's what you need to understand. And I broke down how Jesus is you. Jesus is the sun, the literal sun in the sky. That's what he represents, among other things. But he also represents you in your conscious state. God represents your all-powerful subconscious, which exists within you. Jesus within you, as he says many times in the Bible. And you got to look at this. Again, a lot of people point out, I had a whole conversation with somebody that wanted to break down the devil worship in the music industry. And as I always point out, well, how could they be worshiping the devil when they're wearing Jesus pieces? When they're walking around thinking Jesus, they get an award, they think Jesus. It's because they understand. And it's one of the things that a lot of people got to really think about. A lot of Christians praising these rappers or what have you, because they get all this fame and success and then they think Jesus. But how is Jesus blessing these people with success and fame when they're rapping about sin, when they're rapping about killing and murder or what have you? They understand what's going on. It's what you need to understand so you can escape from this whole, self-guilt that's out here that's wrapped up into Christianity. And it's knowing that you are God. And they wear the Jesus piece because they understand that they are Jesus. And that's what the Bible is speaking to. So at the end of the day, when you pray, who are you praying to? Praying to yourself. You close your eyes in privacy or in church or what have you, and you pray. People bow their heads and pray. You're going in. You're speaking to yourself and you're programming yourself and telling yourself what you want. Calling yourself whatever you call yourself, Father, Lord, Jesus, or what have you. That is speaking to your own energy, because at the end of the day, it's going to be your own energy that causes things to happen. And again, a metaphor to all that is prayer. It's you just praying and programming yourself, which is meditation, to do what you're asking for. You understand? So if you really get it and grasp how frequency and vibration work, and you're constantly praying for something or constantly saying to yourself you want to do something, you go do it. When you really want something, like you really want it, you go get it. You do what you need to do to go get it. The problem is, most of us, we don't go and get it until it's detrimental, till our prayer becomes the problem. And now we got to act because it's serious now. Something happened and you got to stop bullshit. You got to go and do it. And that's when people finally, go and act and go and do it, because you sit there and you pray for your rent money. It's not just going to come. You got to go out and work. Even if you get it from somebody, you had to go and ask them for it. And then you thank God. And again, you got to get what that's speaking to. Because even if somebody gave it to you and you thinking God, you thinking them, because they're gods too. When you really understand what all this, I'm God, we are gods, and the 5%ers and the gods of the earth and nation, and all these people way back in the day was talking to when they was elaborating, when they were saying that we are gods. I am God. God exists within me. And we call each other gods and everything like that in the hip hop culture a lot of times. So what is that speaking to? We follow this hip hop culture and everybody embrace it and everything like that. But that part of it, people want to shun because of Christianity, but at the same time follow because it's popular, but it's still going against Christianity. So, you can't pick and choose. You can't serve two masters or what have you. So which one is it? Either you're going to follow the hip hop culture because you think it's your culture and, you like it or what have you, or you're not going to follow because of how it's, promoting sin and it's against what you say is your practicing religion, which is Christianity. You got to pick one, but you're trying to do both. But it's one of the things that confuse people because they don't understand why these people are proclaiming Christianity by wearing a Jesus piece and thinking Jesus, but at the same time promoting sin. How does that work? Everybody's so scared of Satan and going to hell, yet people are not practicing the religion to escape it or to keep from going there. So it makes you question, what are you really doing here? A lot of people, as I talk about, just playing games with the whole thing and not understanding what it's really speaking to. Again, Satan is the evil aspect of yourself. We are all Satan. We are all God. It's the reason why God don't just kill Satan in the Bible is because he is Satan. And I know I talked about this in a lot of videos, reiterating here. It's a lot of people, who haven't seen those videos. Those videos are buried. I don't even know which videos they took down. So I'm going to get into a lot of information I talked about before, but I had to put out new videos on some of this stuff because a lot of people just need to know, and I don't have enough of it to go around to get people into that correct understanding. So I'll touch on some of the same topics in this video as well, but it's leading towards something, and I want you guys to really get that because, like I said, I've been coming into a lot of new information recently. So in frequency and vibration, I've really had to really touch on a lot of new ways of thinking and thought that I've come into and looking at, so much stuff that I already went over, but missed a lot of points. That's one of the things when you don't research, you look at a lot and you're not going to get everything. So you got to really go back and keep being that student and keep researching. So again, when Satan just represents the evil energies that exist. Plain and simple. You haven't seen or read Satan doing anything worse than what you've seen man do. It's just that simple. You see what's going on in Israel and what's going on with this whole Jewish Islamic war. These people killing kids and dead bodies of little kids, incinerated, obliterated because of missiles or bombs or what have you. What is worse than that? That is completely evil, and that's man-made. This is what men are doing to children. This ain't no Satan coming down doing that. And people want to think, oh, maybe Satan possessed these people to do it. Well, of course Satan did, because Satan represents the evil part of us. So it's satanic in essence and everything. What they're rapping about in the music industry is satanic in essence because it's evil. It's bad. So when you understand and look at it from that point, it is what it is. And that's the problem. A lot of people can't accept that because they're looking at things as being too simple and it's hard for them to accept. It's like when you see a magic trick and you're blown away by it, like, oh my goodness, how did he do that? But then when they show you how the trick is done, you're like, get the fuck out of here. It was so simple. It's the same thing that's happening with the Bible. The simplest explanation, people are not accepting. When we say Jesus is the Son. Jesus is called the light of the world. Well, the Son is the light of the world. Jesus is called the Son. Jesus walks on water in the Bible. Well, the Son walks on water when it's setting, over the water. Jesus turns water into wine. Well, the Son makes it rain, which is basically making the grapevines grow. So, and people just look at it and say, that's some bullshit. Get out of here. But that's exactly what it is. The simplest explanation is giving you the answer right there.